You may recall looking at the documentation for the graphics objects in the textbook at the end of the chapter that covered them. Many languages, including Python, provide a way to document classes, functions, and methods within the code itself. In Python, you add a string immediately underneath the class definition, function, or method. This string is used as the documentation for that item and is appropriately known as a documentation string. You can also place a string at the top of a file to serve as documentation for that module. These strings may be longer than a line, so we'll use a syntax I don't think we've seen before. In Python, you may create a string with 3 single quotes or 3 double quotes, and the string may contain multiple lines by pressing return inside the editor rather than using the \n character and placing the string all in one line. You end the string with the same 3 quote characters. PyCharm provides an easy way to add documentation strings by entering 3 double quotes and pressing return. For functions and methods, it fills in the names of the parameters and a place to indicate the return type of the function or method. We'll use our DicePair class to demonstrate this. We'll first add a documentation string to the class that indicates what the class does. Next, we'll add the documentation string for the constructor. We enter 3 double quotes and press return, and it adds a place to document the parameter. This :param syntax is a standard syntax for documenting functions and methods that many languages use. We'll indicate what the parameter represents. If we weren't using the type annotations, I would also document the type of each parameter in the documentation string. The number of sides method does not have any parameters, but does have a return value. PyCharm fills in that placeholder when we press return after entering the 3 double quotes. We'll add text that indicates what it returns. I'll enter the other documentation strings, and then we'll look at them. We can see the description of the return value for each one. For the roll method, I've also added a description of what it does, since it isn't a simple getter method. Now we can share this DicePair file with someone who needed a pair of dice for their program, and the documentation strings tell them how to use it. Someone using our class probably doesn't want our test code in the file. We did use the if_name comparison, so the code won't be executed when they import our file, but it would be better to put it in a separate file. This will also demonstrate how someone else would use our class. We will create a new file to test the class. At the top of the file, we import the 2 classes in the file using from DicePair import die, DicePair. Now we can write our main function and then run it. Just as we use the graphics modules in our classes by importing it, anyone can add the DicePair file to their project and import the classes in it and use them.